All right, I want to thank all of you for coming today. We're going to do kind of an economic development update with what I consider some very solid, very good news today. Along with me, of course, we have our aldermen. We have Kate Hodel, Steve Tollineer, Virgil Mayberry, Josh Shipp, and Mr. Pat Bershore, who has been extremely helpful for us also. We're going to be talking about a few things here. So let me begin by saying I think it's great that we can have this announcement today, and when I get to it, I think everybody's really going to like it. But I'm going to build up to it a little bit here. So I'm going to start out with the fact that Rock Island is 95% built out. If we're going to do anything, we have to create a space somewhere in order to do it. We can't just go out and put something in a piece of property. We don't have that land unless we go out a little further. Chuck, come on in here. We've got Chuck Austin here too. The reason I've got all my aldermen up here today is because they have to make the tough decisions, the tough votes. So anything that happens, they have to stand behind it the same as everybody else does. And since we're 95% built out, we started working with the company for a retail site. And the site that we chose was Watch Tower Plaza. We thought that would be the best place to do an economic development project. But we had a lot of companies that were still in there. One was Blackhawk College. They were running out of space. We had to do something. They're in a brand new building down in Blackhawk Commons. They've got a lot of room now. They've got room to grow, and they're thrilled. State Farm Insurance. They now have a standalone building down in the Blackhawk Commons too, and they're doing excellent down there. And also, Pat Eichenberry and the Missman people, they decided to build a corporate headquarters. So they have a 3-story corporate headquarters that we would not have had. And that's down in the Blackhawk Commons area. So those 3 buildings are there. There's room for 4 other buildings down there. So there's a lot of room for development. Dollar General was in Watchtower Plaza. They're now next to McDonald's, doing a great job. Iowa Illinois Independent Living. They're on the corner of 11th Street and 5th Avenue. Brand new facility. They love their location. A lot of people don't know about At Your Service. It was a very small business down in the Watchtower Plaza. They have moved down and they opened up a restaurant and a catering service. So they're Moe's Burgers on 4th Avenue between 15th and 16th Streets. They're doing an excellent job. And the big one was Hill and Valley. And Hill and Valley was, they were going to move out, not out of Rock Island. They were going to move out of the area entirely. They were just going to leave. But we were able to work with them, and Renaissance and Brian Hollenbeck really helped us with some tax credits and did some very creative funding to help keep them here. They're now located down at the old Farm Mall site. They have a brand new facility. We retained 140 jobs and added 25 to 40 new jobs. So the people that moved out of that location have all thrived in new locations. They've added to the 11th Street corridor. They've added to other parts of Rock Island. They're doing good, and we're developing the whole community at the same time. While we were doing that, we cleared the site to get ready for development. And as of May of this last year, March actually, we started really clearing the site, getting it down just to dirt. Valley Construction Company did a fantastic job of getting it level. We had a little water there. They went back and redid it and got everything in really good shape there. Main thing I want to talk about today is right here. Yesterday afternoon, we received in the mail from Wal-Mart a signed contract buying that property for $4.5 million. Everybody's been asking us about the signed contract. Here it is. Signed by Wal-Mart, done and ready to go. So we're ready to move ahead on the project. I want to congratulate Thomas and his staff. They worked long hours and very hard to get this done. I mean, this is not done by any one person, 2 people. This has taken numerous people to get to this point on this project. I want to thank several people for letters of support. The school district provided us a letter of support. Representative Pat Bershore provided us a letter of support, very helpful. Senator Anderson, and also Congresswoman Sherry Bustos' office. All those things combined help us to get to this point. Well, one thing I do want to take a couple of minutes here, and I want to introduce Alderman Virgil Mayberry to talk a little bit about the impact on the 2nd Ward, because everybody has their own wards. I mean, they all have their own wards, but they all also have to work together throughout the entire community to make everything happen. But this particular project is in the 2nd Ward, which is Alderman Mayberry's ward. Virgil?
Thank you, Mayor. Morning, everyone. It's still morning. First of all, I want to thank God for this day, because our mayor has went through hell for the last 2.5 years. Most of you, if you're in the news media and have been here, he has been under all kind of criticism, which I don't feel that he should have been under, okay? Because he's not only a colleague, he's the leader of this city. And I would also like to thank the staff, because I have worked with the staff. As most of you know, during my campaign, I said I would do whatever was necessary to help get Wal-Mart here if I even had to go to Arkansas. One of the staff people told me, Alderman Mayberry, you won't have to do that. In his office, he told me, he said, you won't have to do that, we'll do that. The staff has worked tirelessly. Some people evidently think that the staff here in Rock Island sit down here and do nothing. That is not true, because I come down here. I see what the staff does. They have worked on this. It's a four-letter word. Some people think most four-letter words are bad. Work, okay? I have seen some of you, this young man here in, where was it? Iowa City, Waterloo, Cedar Falls at tournaments and that. I travel. I'm not afraid to go nowhere, okay? As he said, the second ward, this is going to be the greatest thing that has happened in the second ward since Jumers, okay? We know the impact Jumers has had on the city of Rock Island, this whole community. This is just the beginning with Wal-Mart. There are going to be other entities that are coming in here because of Wal-Mart. And as I say, I thank God for this project, because as he showed you, there is a contract. Some of you were belly aching, news media, well, you haven't got a contract. Well, we got a contract now, so we'll see what you belly ache about next, okay? Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Virgil. Next steps. I mean, you always get asked, what's next? And we're going to take this step by step, not today, but as we do this, we'll go step by step. Because every economic development project takes twists and turns. You can't put a timeline on an economic development project of this magnitude. Yeah, it's been 3 years. But you'll see where they just started digging on the project over in Davenport for the new casino. That was a 5-year project that they finally started digging on. So this has been 3 years. The next step for us is this Monday night, our council has to take a vote to finally approve this contract. I don't really think we're going to have any no votes there. At least I hope not. So, but I'm only going to take this one step at a time. So that's the next step. After they approve it on Monday night, I will talk about the next step. So we can go from there with Wal-Mart. But I will only approach this. I won't look out into the future. I'll just take it one step at a time. As we were looking around, we figured this is the largest retail development in the history of Rock Island. I mean, this is major. This is a big, big project for the city of Rock Island. We don't have retail development. This project is looking to bring in 400 jobs. It is looking to bring in about $1.4 million a year in sales tax revenue. We need that sales tax revenue, and we need more sales tax revenue. And with that, you're also going to see, we've been talking to several other businesses that have been waiting for a Wal-Mart announcement because they want to locate in that area too. So now we can start working with them and talking to them about them coming into the area. I see this as a catalyst to spur additional development all up and down the 11th Street corridor and possibly all around Rock Island. I mean, to me, I hope you all agree that this is excellent news today. This is great news for us. I think it's great news for Rock Island, all the citizens of Rock Island and the Quad Cities. They've been asking and asking and asking for a signed contract. There's a Wal-Mart signature, guys. It's right there. So we have the signed contract. With that, that's all I have, unless you have questions. We have never talked incentives. There were no incentives in 2012, and we have not talked to anybody about incentives. This is a straight purchase of property, $4.5 million. So that step will come down the line.
Oh, as far as like, you know, they're participating in, is it like a TIF there?
Yeah, we'll be talking about those things as we go down the line. We haven't got to that step yet. This is a step process, and we have to take each step one at a time. This is just a straight purchase of the property. Any other question? They're not laid out in the contract. No, we were told before it was going to be a superstore, but we're waiting for that. That's where you get the 400 employees and the $1.4 million in sales tax revenue. We'll see what happens with Wal-Mart as we go down the process.
So would you anticipate that it will be a superstore?
Right now, that's what I anticipate. That's what we talked about before, and that's what I would anticipate. But, you know, twists and turns. That's what I'm expecting. Unless they tell me different, that's what I expect to see there.
And so this contract is for a straight purchase of land?
This is for a straight purchase of land, yes. $4.5 million to purchase that 20-plus acres. I'll tell you that Monday night. I'm only going to do it one step at a time. I'm not going to try to go out there and forecast what's going to happen 2 or 3 years from now, because that's when we start getting in real issues. So I'll take it one step at a time.
Contract?
This will be online this afternoon at 2:30. When the packet comes out, it'll be in the packet. The whole contract.
Oh, sorry, this is that whole Watchtower site, right?
Yes, this is the whole Watchtower site. It's actually, 22.9 acres, right at 23 acres. Yeah. Not at this point, no. No. I wanted to get this step completed. This was the most important step at this point, was getting the purchase of the property. Then we'll take the next steps one at a time. Yes, they have to do a final, they voted once on this, but now since Walmart signed it, they have to do a final approval, and they'll do that Monday night. Well, yeah, I think it represents a lot because, you know, we've been trying to do this for 3 years, of course. And, you know, we've heard a lot of, there's been a lot of negativity. It's not going to be here, it's not going to be here, what's going on, what's going on. On any economic development project, you can't go out and talk about it. Because if you start talking about it, then things get really messed up and it doesn't happen. With an economic development project of this magnitude, you can't have a timeline. Walmart builds over 120 stores a year. So they've got a huge, huge process that they have to go through in order to get things done. We're part of the process. We finally got to this stage. The assignee was Price, but then Walmart signed the contract, so they're the assignor. Well, I can't understand why they would pay $4.5 million and then not build anything. Okay, well, I never gave an August date. I don't know. That was something that somebody came up with. I did not give it. I've never given a date. And I won't give a date because I've done a lot of economic development projects in the past. And what happens is something happens in there. Maybe your project gets pushed out of the way because there's a bigger project that has to happen. Or maybe some other reason your project just doesn't go where it has to go with this week. So it gets pushed out. That's the issue with major corporations. Things get moved around and different steps have to be taken. Well, I don't know. It's not a turning point. We've worked up to this point. We basically knew it was going to happen within a certain timeline, but we're not going to give a timeline because if you give a timeline, everybody says, well, that date's here. What happened? So we knew it was going to be within a certain timeline. We didn't know exactly when, and then we got the contract yesterday. I can tell you Monday night what the next step is. I won't do it now because as I start talking about steps, then everybody says, well, why isn't this done yet? Why isn't this done yet? That's why I'm only going to talk about one step at a time. And the next step, if something happened and the council didn't approve it Monday night, the next step wouldn't happen. Right. So that's why it's one step at a time. And I've taken a lot of abuse over this issue over the last 3 years. So I want to take it a step at a time. That could be part of driving the decision, yes. I think the investment is far more than just Walmart because you talk about Blackhawk College, you talk about Missman, you talk about Hill and Valley. We would have lost that 140 jobs plus the 40 more that Hill and Valley is bringing in. Blackhawk College eventually would have totally ran out of space and would have had to do something. We would not have had the corporate headquarters of Missman. There are 3 down there. So I think the money has been extremely well invested, and I think this development is not only going to bring Walmart, it's going to bring other businesses with it, and that's going to add to the sales tax base for Rock Island, and it's going to do what we need to do for the future. I will say we've talked to other businesses that are very interested. They didn't want to do any negotiating until Walmart was signed on.
Businesses that are new to the community?
Yes.
That sales tax amount has got to be impressive. I know you said 1.4
yeah,
million.
1.4 million, yes.
You said it represents, is that the biggest deal for Rock Island?
Well, I think the project itself is the biggest project, retail project for Rock Island. I mean, Jubers was a huge project, but that wasn't a retail project. I'm talking about retail projects. All right, thank you.